Over a year ago, I completed a full Netherite beacon in hardcore, but then I mined up loads of it for every armor trim combination, so now my beacon is ruined. Until today. I need another 64 Netherite blocks to repair it, which is 2,304 ancient debris. And instead of it taking me months and months to get that like last time, I'm gonna do it in a week. How? By building an insane Netherite farm. To do this, the first phase I must complete is to gather up a load of resources to build the farm. Then for phase 2, I need to create a massive space in the nether to build it. And finally, for phase 3, I'll create and run the machine which will expose thousands and thousands and thousands of ancient debris. Now to build a Netherite farm, I'm gonna need a lot of iron. Something I've pretty much run out of. And a bug in 1.19 broke my iron farm, but it's been fixed in 1.20.2. So now I just need to fill it with 2 pillagers and 112 villagers. Because the downgrade of last episode somehow made them all escape. I reckon my best bet to get them all is just to build a simple villager breeder. This looks like a good spot, and it's not going to require too many items to build. Mainly just a load of dirt, glass, and crops. Plus all of these items too. I'm going to build it quite high up, which will be annoying for getting the villagers up here to breed. But then once they are here, it'll be easier to get them into the different slots. So I'll grab a load of items and get busy building this. So this right here is where the minecart dispenser will be. And what I'm making right here is the baby villager sorter. So the baby villagers will go into here, and when they grow up, their head will be higher than the slab, which means they'll end up here and get pushed into the powdered snow and above the iron trapdoor. And now to build a bit where the magic happens, literally, because this is where the villagers will breed. That's the bottom bit done, and so now the ground can be tilled, the slabs can be waterlogged, and the carrots can be planted. And with that done, Operation Build Up the Walls can commence. And I'll also add 2 more farming layers above it as well. And it is done. 3 layers for them to breed on, and all it's now missing is a bunch of beds. And now comes the fun part, because I've somehow got to get these villagers down here, all the way up there. I'll start by building a giant dirt staircase, which leads up to the very top. Next, I'll add a bunch of powered rails, with levers on the side. Alright, villager number 1, prepare to be, Oh, well, that didn't work. Take 2. Prepare to be abducted. And the same for you too. And with that, you guys can now get busy breeding. And I'll be sending a couple more up for you as well. In here, I've now got 6. And now I can fill up all of the rest. At this point, I think I've run out of villagers. But that's the beauty of having a breeder under... Wait, how have you escaped? I have no idea, but all I do know is we need to get you into a safe place. So that's you safely into there and in here, and I'll release you when you become an adult. And in the meantime, I'll add more trapdoors so that doesn't happen again. As these villagers grow up, I can press this button, which will pick them up in a minecart and add them into here, which means the villager breeder is now full. And now I just need to wait for these guys to breed me loads of villagers. And whilst I wait for that, if you would like to download my world, I've added an up-to-date version of it to my Patreon that I will update after every single new episode. Yes, you will have to pay, but there's other Patreon perks as well, and it does take a bit of work to make a 70GB world small enough for you to download. And if you'd like to be able to just play on it for free, I've also put it on my Minecraft server for you to explore. You just can't mine or place blocks on the server. The IP is penguin.gg. And I think that's enough villagers, mainly because they were starting to take damage, so I will begin getting them into their homes. The minecart track is ready. I push this button not once, not twice, but thrice. And apparently, I send them all to their death. Okay, take 2, this time with a softer landing. And this time, they've all survived. Okay, what on? I take that back, they didn't. I've never seen anything like it. Anyway, this time, they're all okay. And I can continue loading up all of the other spots. That's the second one sorted, as well as the third one, and finally the 4th. And from there, I'll just keep breeding more villagers until I've filled up the entire farm. And there we go. Every single bed. Oh well. Almost every single bed. There we go. Now they're all done. I'm going to flick this lever to turn it off. And I'm now missing a pillager right here and a pillager right there. So I'll be going through this portal because the easiest way for me to move pillagers is through the nether. And so if I head through this portal, this is where pillagers spawn. Then I need to get one of them into a boat. I'll remove my armor because the thorns is damaging him. And he's going to keep trying to shoot me over and over again, but he can't. And eventually his crossbow will break. And it is finally done. It is broken. And he... Are you kidding me? So here goes take 2, where I must wait again. There we go. Let's send him through the portal and then drag him in this direction to this portal where he can be put in the minecart. And now I shall head back to where I can fly up here to spawn more pillagers that can also have their crossbows removed. That's a job well done. He can go in there, into that minecart, and this is it. The farm has been fixed. So I'll get rid of all this dirt scaffolding, and I'll also flick these levers to turn the villager breeder off, because I kind of forgot about it, and now I'm completely overrun with babies. And I'm now going to go over here to get some sleep, and the moment of truth, I flick this lever, the pillagers set off, and every time they reach the villagers, they stop, scare the villagers, and 4 iron golems are spawned. And this continues over and over as they go round and round the pillager roller coaster. And it wasn't actually the 1.19 bug that broke the farm. It was a different bug that made the game think that the beds were occupied when they weren't, so the villagers couldn't get in, so no golems could spawn. The farm has already got me loads of iron, which is great. And whilst the farm is running, I'm going to go through this portal and gather up every single other item that I'm going to need to create the Netherite farm. With that, I have every single item I need, meaning that phase 1 is complete. And I can begin phase 2, which is to dig a massive hole in the nether. And right here, I do already have this massive nether perimeter. However, building my farm in this would interfere with my gold farm, it would interfere with the fortress farm. I just don't want to do that. So instead, I'm going to find a new spot to build it, and I want it to be an area that doesn't have loads of lava below it. Because when digging the hole, the lava is going to be the annoying thing. This seems like a pretty good spot because it's just a massive section of land. So I'm now going to have to go up really, really high. And from bedrock height, I'm going to mark out an area that is 3 by 3 chunks. And this entire hole is currently 2 blocks high, and it needs to be 120 blocks high in total. So I'm going to quickly dig my way out of here, repair my pickaxe, and dig out enough layers of netherrack so there'll be enough space for me to build a world eater to break the rest. And there we go. Enough of this is now mined out. That took way too long. And the rest of this hole is going to be blown up, so I'll go and get the materials for that. Although just before that, I wouldn't mind flying to spawn, because I'd like to see how well the iron farm is doing. And yeah, it's safe to say it's doing pretty well. So I'll craft a load of blocks and use them to fill a shulker box. There we go. And now to grab all the necessary items to blow up the nether. That is everything. And I'll also top up my food and repair my pickaxes. Now to fly over in this direction, past this nether portal, and follow the arrow. You see, I put that there for a reason, because it leads me here, where I can now build the TNT machine. There we go. And I've made a rookie mistake, because I forgot to bring any glowstone. But thankfully we are in the nether, so I can easily collect some up. 8 pieces should be enough. That means I can complete the machine and also the return pad. Job done. And so I've removed this redstone block, which will start it off, and loads of TNT is going to start being produced, destroying everything. But there's lava that's interfering with my plants. So the easiest way for me to get rid of that is just to craft a load of buckets and then use those buckets to pick it up. This is going to take some good flying and also a bit of fire resistance too. So the only thing that can go wrong with this plan is if I get blasted by TNT and die. And it is a real possibility because I am an idiot when it comes to these machines, so I'm going to be very careful and avoid standing near where the TNT blows up. This is also a great method to get ancient debris, which I'll mine up later when I don't have to worry about lava blocking all my TNT. The machine has stopped because it's got stuck against this wall up here. And you can see there's a lot of terrain left because of the lava. In fact, let me get rid of these last few little bits. And now you can see what I'm working with. So all of this has got to go. But before that, the lava down here also needs removing. And buckets just aren't the best way to do it. So I'll be using scaffolding instead. Which basically works by going like this, so that you fill in the whole thing and replace the lava. It's quite satisfying to do, and there's a lot of lava to get rid of. Took a while, but yes, all the lava has now gone, which means I can put the scaffolding back into here, remove this machine, and build another one right here. Next, I can set this off, and the TNT is going to blow up all the parts of the terrain that the lava protected before. And it'll also expose new bits of lava that I can get rid of without blowing myself up, hopefully. Yes, mate, come on. Be more careful. And it is a real possibility because I am an idiot when it comes to these machines, so I'm going to be very careful. And as the machine's running, I'll also get all the ancient debris that's dotted around. Yeah, there's a piece there, another one there. The TNT is coming for me. I better hurry up and just focus on collecting these. And you know what? Nether quartz is something that I never seem to have enough of, so whilst I'm waiting, I'm going to mine a load of it up because so much of it has been exposed. At this point, I think I've mined up enough, over 5 stacks, and the machine is not too far off its second lap. And there you have it. The machine is now stuck. And this hole is kind of deep enough, except for the fact that I need to corner off this lava and dig out a bit more space here because some of the machine needs to go even lower. And that should just about do it. The main bulk of the machine is going to be built in this big chasm. But I'm still not done because quite a bit of the machine is also going to be dug. Hey, look, there's ancient debris. But yeah, another big part of the machine is going to be built in a corridor. A corridor that connects to here. And I've dug out the width and height of it, although it will need to go a little bit lower later on. But for now, this is exactly how high I can reach, so I'm going to keep it like this until it is the full length that it needs to be, which is quite a few hundred blocks. But just before doing that, I should probably fly up here and repair my pickaxes. Then I don't have to worry about my pickaxes breaking, and I can dig out the entire... Oh, look, ancient debris. But yeah, then I can dig out the entire tunnel. And the top half is now done. That was a nightmare. Did not expect to have to dig a massive tunnel into the lava. And now I've got to do even more digging so that half of this tunnel is 10 blocks deeper than this little bit over here. Once this is done, I'll be able to build the machine. And because I did the top half first, I'm not going to have to contend with that much lava. And before I actually continue, it's probably a good idea if I mend my pickaxe. Last thing I want to happen is for it to break, so I'm better being safe than sorry. And with that done, I can drop off these items and get busy mining. And there we go, phase 2 is now complete, which was to clear out a massive hole in the nether. Now to fly back, repair stuff again, and then grab all of these different materials, because we can finally begin phase 3, which is to finally build the Netherite farm. It can get me thousands of ancient debris in a very, very short space of time. I'm going to start by building 2 giant outlines of cubes, because that's how I'm going to align the entire machine with the chunks. If it's not correctly chunk aligned, everything will break. And exactly why is that the case? Well, I'll explain later on. For now, all I'll say is that I'm going to be placing quite a lot of redstone components. And this bottom bit of the machine is pretty much all going to be what controls the timings of the intervals that the machine works at. And this is exactly why I needed so much iron. Because right here we have a rail system that's going to have minecarts going around it. And the machine will eventually produce loads of TNT, and the minecarts can be used to split the TNT up and space them out. Again, I'll explain it properly when I've actually built the machine. And until that point, you're only going to get little snippets of explanations here and there. And the main thing I need to do right now is put absolutely everything into the chest, then grab iron and shulker boxes, because I first need to fill these chests with normal minecarts, and then shulker boxes full of minecarts need to go into this chest. Now you see why I've been gathering so much iron, because I need over 60 shulker boxes worth. So I'm going to get busy and get to work. All of these shulker boxes have now been filled with minecarts, so I think I should have enough. As you can see, my iron reserves are not what they used to be. Yeah, it took a lot. But anyway, I'll mine these up, add them to this chest, and then I'll realize that I am 2 boxes short, which very quickly and easily can be rectified. There we go. And now I can get back to building up this farm. So the bit down here that kind of sorts out all the TNT is almost done. And I'm now building something that sends a signal from over here all the way up to the top. It just involves observers and activator rails to send the signal. And from there I'll use observers, concrete and doors to tower it upwards. At this point I've pretty much made it to the top. I'm just going to place 6 more observers so you can see what I've just done, as it's a pretty tall tower. And I need to get back to work on all of the redstone down here. And that's pretty much all the redstone done at this level. Just need to add 4 pieces of concrete into this hopper and a singular piece in this one. And with that, it's now time to tower this bit upwards. I've placed down a load of glass, which is going to funnel the TNT into that one spot. But for the TNT to actually get pushed into one spot, we're going to need slime blocks to move them, which is where this little system comes in. And from there I can continue building upwards, where I can add a glass platform and more slime to push the TNT. And now we're getting close to the bit where the TNT is going to be. And where I'm stood is going to be lava, so I'm adding glow lichen to stop it flowing down while still allowing the TNT to pass through. And for those of you that watch 7,000 Days, you'll notice that what I'm building I've done before. Yes, this massive machine is a design by Cubic Meter, and it's called the Infiniball. I used it to get me a lot of diamonds, but this time I'm going to do different settings to destroy a much larger area, and it is going to get me so much ancient debris. In fact, it's so powerful that it's going to get me a full netherite beacon's worth in just 7 or 8 hours, which is crazy when you think that that normally takes people months and months. Now, in each of the corners of these squares, there is going to be lava. That's all of them in. Now it's time to add loads more redstone, and this is basically the control room part of the build, where I can tweak all different settings and it'll give me different results, which is always very handy. And before I go any further with the redstone up here, there's something I've realized I should do. You see, down at the bottom here, in this massive long corridor, there's going to be a big machine that goes right the way to the end. That machine is what splits the TNT up and will then fire it to create a massive hole. However, the machine is going to require vines, and it's going to be easy for me if I would let the vines grow. But the vines growing is actually going to take quite a bit of time, so it might as well be happening whilst I'm doing all of the building up at the top. Don't know why I didn't think of this sooner. So I'll place these down and build it all the way to the end. And then I shall add the vines down, which are going to go in between every single piston. Only one in each space is required because over time the rest will do itself as it grows, which is always a nice thing to be able to happen. And whilst I'm here, I might as well add in all the other redstone components. That's all the tripwire hooks in. And now to do all the rest. And this entire thing is now done. The vines are steadily growing. Not all of them are where they need to be, but they've got plenty of time. So I'm not worried about that. I'm just glad that this part of the machine is done, because it means I can go back to focusing on all this redstone up here, which begins with more glass and pistons. I've also just come to check on the vines and noticed some of them have been growing on that wall there, which I don't really... Okay, well, that was fortuitous. We'll grab that. As I was saying, which I don't really want to have happen. And so to combat that, I'm going to make this entire tunnel 1 block wide. There we go. That's the vine problem sorted. So I can continue to leave them to grow whilst I continue to add the rest of the redstone. I'm now adding a load of warped gates, and after that, that is when things will get interesting, because on top of the gates, I will be placing TNT. Yeah, I've got to get this right, because if I get it wrong now, I'll blow up the entire machine and lose a lot of work. So far, so good with placing it down because nothing has blown up. But the worrying bit is yet to come. I'm going to make a bit of a glass platform for me to stand on. And here's the bit that could be dangerous, because I'm going to place target blocks along. Then I'm going to run the redstone dust up to here. Add more concrete, more target blocks, and more redstone dust. And I will hook all of this up to powered redstone. But before I do that, I'm going to drop off a bunch of items because I need to head home to collect 17 cakes. I know it's a very specific amount and you're probably wondering why. Well, all will be revealed very, very soon. And whilst I'm here, I want glow ink sacks and red dye, as well as 9 book and quills. Then I can grab some emeralds and go and see my friend the farmer, who will give me loads of cake. Now I can make it so that the signs are much easier to read. And all these cakes are going into this barrel to create a certain amount of power for the comparator. And for now, I'll just put the book and quills in here because they're going to be used later, not just yet. I'm fairly confident it should be fine, to be honest. So we're going like that. Redstone, and then before every block, there's going to be a comparator. No TNT has blown up just yet, which is nice. And I've made it to the end. And now there isn't too much building left to be done. Just a bit more redstone over here and stuff related to the lecterns, which have all been placed down. I just need to write the books and set them to the correct page, which is pretty straightforward to do. I just go like that and press done and repeat that for every single one, all with slightly different values. And with that done, I can get busy placing the redstone to finish the entire build. And once I place this final observer, it's done. The machine is completely finished. But there's also just need to be 4 concrete in this right hopper, which is easy enough. So we'll just go ahead and do that. And I'm almost ready to use it. But the only thing I do still have to wait for is for these vines to grow. Apparently some of them are faster than others. But it's not too much of an issue because I have still got a little bit of digging left. As you can imagine, it's been a big digging project. And the digging that needs to be done is I need to create a bit of a standoff zone so that when the TNT comes down and gets fired in this direction, it doesn't just go straight into the wall. There needs to be a bit of space between it and the machine. The width that the standoff zone needs to be is about 28 blocks. And it actually connects up to this, so that's not too bad, is it? We've got a nice little cave to work with where I've already been getting ancient debris. I'm also going to take the opportunity to remove any lava. And hey, whilst doing it, might even get a bit more ancient debris. And I'm also going to place alternating glass blocks for the TNT to land on all the way along here to the very end. Mission accomplished. I'll drop off all of this junk that I now no longer need. Then I'll repair my pickaxe and get busy mining out the final area for this farm to be complete. And it is now all mined out. And unfortunately, right at the end, my Silk Touch pickaxe did break, which is a bit annoying, as it will mean that I'll have to use a load more levels making a new one. Not much I can do about that, though. So I'll drop off all these items I've got. The blackstone and gravel will be very useful. Then I'll grab 3 diamonds, 2 sticks, and I'll also need a netherite ingot. That's that sorted, and a pickaxe crafted. Now to buy the correct books, put it all together, and make it netherite. This XP farm will do the rest. And now this netherite farm is ready to be used. And the spot that you have to stand at for this farm to work is also a very, very important part. I'm now in the exact right position, and I'm walling it off so that when I stand there, I'll be safe. Job done. It's quite cozy, but yeah, to make it work, I'll have to fly along this pathway I've made, which connects all the way back to here. Now, before I do anything, I do need to make sure that every single vine has grown. As you can see, some haven't quite. It's not too big of a deal, though, because in here, I've got loads of spare vines that I brought, so I can very easily place blocks and then put vines on them to make them fully grown. And once I place down these 4 and mine the netherrack, all of the vines are now done. And I think everything's pretty much 100% ready to go. So just as an initial test run, I'm going to put 1 nugget into this top dropper and then press the button to start the machine. Although nothing will happen just yet, I first need to unload almost all of the chunks by flying through this tunnel I made and ending up right here. Then the machine is working. The way the machine works is loads of TNT is created here in the entity processing chunks. And then it's stored in the redstone processing chunks where it can be kept in stasis and it is given momentum. It's then separated as it's pushed by these pistons because the minecarts act as a separator. And then it's fired off out of any loaded chunks and warped into the terrain at different positions, covering the entire area. It then remains active until the terrain is loaded, then it instantly blows up. At this point, enough time should have passed, so the machine should have finished. And it's the moment of truth. Did this massive machine work, or has it just blown itself up? So far, so good, but it's in here where it matters the most. It all looks fine, and it has worked. Look at it. All of this has been blown up, revealing so much ancient debris. And you might look at this as being pretty big, pretty impressive, and it's not too bad at all, if you don't fly into the lava, that is. On average, a blast this big will get you about 2 stacks of the ancient debris. However, 2 stacks isn't going to finish my beacon. That's just nowhere near good enough. So as big as this may be, I'm now going to run the machine again, but this time it's going to take a lot longer because it's going to make a tunnel that is 20 times as long. Yes, that tunnel had a length of 192 blocks, but by me grabbing 22 nuggets and putting them in here, it is going to make a tunnel with a length of 4,224 blocks, which is going to get me more than enough ancient debris. It's going to be amazing. It's going to take its time in running, so I will simply have to wait here until it's done. And to be extra safe, I am going to box myself in. I've let it run. It is now completed. Let's see if it worked. I really hope so. Otherwise, it'll just mess everything up and all that work will have gone down the drain. So we shall see. Did the Infinibore blow everything up? So far, so good. The machine isn't broken. And this area that I'm in was already blasted before, so we're going to have to fly further this way. And it's looking promising, you know, ladies and gentlemen, because the tunnel just keeps going on and on and on. And it should go on and on and on for 4,000 blocks. That looks to be the case. Oh, it's amazing. And just look at all of this ancient debris everywhere. We are going to get so much. Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic that it works. So, before I go on the mining spree, I'm going to first need to get a few things. Firstly, a load of netherite, because I'm going to be doing a lot of towering around as I collect the ancient debris. And then I need to fly up here, not to go to the gold farm, but instead to the old bartering farm, because this has a section specifically for fire resistance. Yeah, having fire resistance isn't 100% necessary, but it will come in handy. Then I can head to the gold XP farm to repair everything. And with that, I'm ready. Ready to begin the massive project of collecting up every single piece. And I'm going to be using a systematic method to do it, where I just go across from chunk to chunk, collecting ancient debris in each one. You only ever get 1 vein per chunk, so it should be pretty straightforward to know what I've done. Could the collection of this ancient debris be automated by massive sweepers? Possibly, but I do think a machine like that would take a ridiculously long time to run. It's not even been an entire Minecraft day, and already I've managed to get an entire stack of the ancient debris. The speed of this is pretty crazy, and I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get a full netherite beacon in no time, which, if you ask me, is pretty impressive. In total, I need 36 to repair my beacon, and progress towards that is pretty good. With that, I've managed to get the 3rd one, with no signs of slowing down. And now that I've got 4 of them, I'm thinking I should do an experiment. I'll first put these that I've already got into the shulker box, and then I'll put 1 hour on the clock and see how many I can get in that time. I'm expecting about 4 or 5 stacks, but we shall see. And after a grand total of 1 hour, let me just get rid of this guy first. He's ruining everything. I have got 5 stacks and 18 pieces of ancient debris, which is 338 in total. That is pretty good indeed. But it's still not enough because I need more for the rest of the beacon. So I'll keep going until I've completed this stack. There's about 37 to go. Then I'll have 10 stacks of debris in total and I can go from there. There we go. That's 10 stacks in total. Plus I've got 6 in here and in this red shulker box, another 35, meaning there's loads more in there. So I'll get it all smelted. And 10 stacks of netherite scrap is going to require 10 stacks of gold. Something I don't have. I have, however, been spending time repairing my items at this XP gold farm. So in the chest, theoretically, there's 52 gold. Okay, you know what? This isn't going to be enough. But I can repair everything here, which is handy. No, instead, I should go to the gold farm that is actually way faster. Located at the end of these blackstone slabs. So I will just stand right here. And pigmen will spawn and walk into the portals. And then the drops get pushed along the ice highway and end up in the chest. I'll let it run for a little bit. That should be enough. So I'll get busy crafting it into ingots. All of that's probably going to be enough. So I'll fly back home, collect up my netherite scrap, and craft a load more netherite blocks. It was a total of 18 blocks. If I'd got one more scrap, I would have got a 19th block. But I'm still very happy with that. And I'm going to place it down, adding it to the collection. That means there's still 46 netherite blocks to go, which is 25 stacks of ancient debris. So I'm going to put my best foot forward and continue working hard in collecting up the rest of the ancient debris. And once I mine this, I now have 5 stacks of ancient debris. And it's also really good mining it up in a basalt delta because due to the higher blast resistance of basalt, the tunnel isn't as high, so you can reach most of the ancient debris without having to build up. And because of the difference in color between the ancient debris and the basalt, you can also see it really easily from quite far away. So yeah, normally this biome is the worst one to find ancient debris, but in this instance, it's actually the best. Once I mine this up, I will have another 16 stacks of ancient debris in my inventory, which, if I put with this, gets me to 21. I really am getting very close indeed. Unfortunately, I'm also trying to conserve netherite by remining these. But I did unfortunately run out of fire resistance, so I'm being more careful now. And that is causing me to go through food a little bit faster. But anyway, 4 stacks to go, so I'm going to put my best foot forward and keep mining away. And with that, I have every single piece of ancient debris that I need. It looks amazing. Just look at it all. And I might as well just grab a few extra bits whilst I'm here. There's still another 1,000 blocks of tunnel left to explore. It just shows how massive of a blast it can make. And I'm sure all this will continue to be very useful in the future. Anyway, no more mining. It is time to get back and get this smelted. And then I can repair my beacon. And on the way back, you never know, I might spot the odd piece of ancient debris that I missed. Although in reality, it's more than the odd piece. I'm finding quite a bit. And I can't ignore it when I go past. You see ancient debris, you have to grab it. Home sweet home. I'll get all this smelting in my little furnace array. My little furnace array, which apparently has run out of fuel. Or at least some of the furnaces have. But not anymore, because blaze rods are something that I've got loads and loads of. I'll leave all that to it. And now I need 25 stacks of gold. As we've already established, that's not something I quite have enough of at the moment. Maybe in here I'll have enough. Hey, I forgot about this as well. Yeah, there's even more netherite scrap. Let's turn it into ingots. We still need more, so I'll craft what I can. And this furnace system did used to be chunk loaded down there, so I'm hoping it still is. I suppose time will tell, because I'm going to leave that running whilst I sit at the gold farm again. The gold is filling up nicely. I probably need about 15 stacks of ingots. Shouldn't take long. I'll just keep going. At this point, I reckon I've got enough. So I'll get these emptied. And the same goes for this chest. And this one. And from there, I can craft ingots to my heart's content. Yeah, I'm sure that that's definitely going to be enough. So let's fly back, craft all the remaining ingots. And from that, I have plenty more blocks of netherite. Which in theory should be enough. But I think for some reason I couldn't count ancient debris correctly. Because I think even though this should be a very special moment, because I've got my netherite beacon back, I'm 1 block short. How did that happen? Yeah, I don't know. Not to worry though if I just go down here. Yeah, we can just nick this. And it is done. I once again have a full netherite beacon. Doesn't it just look amazing? It is great to have it back. This Infinibore really is an insane netherite farm, so a big thanks to Cubic Meter for that. And if you'd like me to try and get the biggest netherite beacon that anyone has ever got in Minecraft single player, then let me know and I'll do it. And also don't forget that you can play on my hardcore world on penguin.gg, so then it's something that you can explore. And if you want to download the full world yourself, you can get it on Patreon.